Lydia Chen jerked awake, her breath hitching as though she had run miles. Her vision swam before settling on the familiar ceiling, white, smooth, and uncracked. Her fingertips trembled as she touched her own cheek. Warm. Alive. No blood. No suffocating pain. No betrayal. She was back. Tears blurred her sight as she turned her head. Beside her, in a small bed pushed near hers, little Leo lay curled up like a dumpling, his tiny hand clutching the edge of his blanket. He was 6, so small, so soft, the age when he still clung to her pant leg and begged her to play with him. The age she had ignored in her previous life. She let out a shaky laugh and sob. This was the night before everything had gone wrong, the night she had snapped at Ethan, accused him of cheating because of Mia's lies, the night she told Leo to stop being childish. The night her marriage began to crumble. She covered her mouth as she wept silently. "Mommy." Leo's sleepy voice drifted over. Lydia froze. In her past life, she had been irritated when he woke at night. She had told him to sleep alone. But now. "Baby," she whispered, voice breaking. "Mommy is here." She scooped him into her arms, hugging him tightly. Leo stiffened, startled, because she had never hugged him this gently before. Slowly, his little fingers grasped her shirt. Mommy, did you have a bad dream?" Lydia's heart shattered again. "Yes," she managed. "But seeing you makes it better." Leo's big eyes widened. "Really? Really?" She kissed his forehead. "I love you, Leo." He blinked rapidly, as though unsure he heard correctly. Lydia had said those words so rarely in her former life that he used to ask Ethan, "Does Mom love me?" Lydia clutched her son tighter. Never again. The next morning, Lydia bounced out of bed with the energy of a woman who had discarded the weight of 10 lifetimes. She hummed as she walked into the kitchen. Ethan Zhao, who was making coffee, nearly dropped the mug when he saw her. "You slept well?" he asked carefully. Lydia blinked. In her previous life, she had barely spoken to him in the mornings, only criticized him for not preparing Leo's study materials on time. Today, she smiled, soft and warm. "I did. Thank you for asking." Ethan stared. His handsome face showed 5 clear emotions: surprise, confusion, suspicion, curiosity, and hope. "I'm making breakfast today," she announced. "You're making what?" Lydia rolled up her sleeves. "Pancakes for Leo. You like them too, right?" Ethan coughed. Yeah. "But Lydia, did something happen? You're acting different." She paused. She couldn't exactly say, "I died last life but I'm back to fix everything." So she simply said, "I realized I've been too strict. I want to change." Ethan stared at her for a long moment, searching her eyes as if trying to see whether she meant it. Whatever he saw made his expression soften. "Okay," he said quietly. "Let's try that." Try. In their previous life, they never got past trying. Leo padded in with messy hair, rubbing his eyes. When he saw Lydia cooking, he blinked rapidly. "Mommy, you're smiling." "I sure am," Lydia said, presenting a pancake shaped vaguely like a heart. "For you, baby." Leo's mouth fell open. Ethan's eyebrows nearly shot off his forehead. She placed the small plate in front of Leo, and the little boy looked at it as though it was a magical artifact. "Mommy made this. For me." "Yes," she said, gently brushing his hair. "From now on, Mommy will make lots of fun things for you." Leo began to bounce in his seat. Ethan looked like he was witnessing the apocalypse for the better. Later that day, the doorbell rang. Lydia's smile vanished instantly. Mia Lin. In her past life, Lydia had foolishly treated Mia as a sister. She let Mia help with household matters, accepted her advice, and believed her concerns about Ethan's faithfulness. Mia had chipped away at Lydia's marriage until it collapsed. But today, Lydia was ready. Mia stepped inside with her usual sweet, harmless facade. "Lydia, I came to check if you were still upset about." "I'm not," Lydia interrupted smoothly. Mia blinked, thrown off. Lydia had never cut her off before. "Oh, you seem cheerful," Mia said, her smile tight. "Did something good happen?" "Yes. I realized my family deserves better." Mia's expression twitched. Your family? You mean Ethan and Leo? You're still prioritizing them? Always. Mia bit her lip. Well, I just hope you don't regret trusting the wrong people. Lydia smiled, but this time there was steel beneath it. I won't, she said. Not anymore. Mia's eyes sharpened, but she said nothing. That night, Lydia tucked Leo into bed. Instead of turning off the lights immediately, she sat beside him. Mommy, Leo whispered, clutching her sleeve. Are you going to be mad at me again? Lydia froze, throat tightening painfully. She cupped his little face. No, sweetheart. Mommy was wrong before. From now on, Mommy will laugh with you, play with you, and love you every day. Leo's eyes welled up. He threw his tiny arms around her neck. I love you, Mommy. Lydia whispered fiercely, I love you more. Standing in the doorway, Ethan watched them quietly. He didn't understand what had changed, but he felt something warm spreading through his chest. His wife was different. Softer. Brighter. Almost reborn. And for the first time in a long time, Ethan dared to hope that maybe, just maybe, they could become a real family again. Lydia woke before dawn, buzzing with the determination of a general preparing for battle. Except her mission wasn't to conquer nations, it was to spoil her 6-year-old son with so much love that his childhood glowed brighter than sunlight. In her past life, Leo's childhood had been full of schedules, tutors, and stern instructions. She used to think discipline equaled success. Now she knew better. Today marked the start of Operation Fun Mom. She tiptoed into Leo's room and found him curled up like a sleepy kitten, cheeks puffed, drooling slightly on the pillow. Her heart melted instantly. My baby, she whispered, brushing a finger across his forehead. Leo squirmed, burying deeper into the blanket. Lydia grinned. Time for phase 1. She took a deep breath and announced dramatically, Leo, wake up, today is fun day. Leo startled awake, eyes wide in panic. Did I miss tutoring? Lydia shook her head earnestly. No tutoring today. No tutoring for a while. Leo stared at her as if she had spoken forbidden magic. No, tutoring? Nope. Instead, we're going to the playground. And then ice cream. And then we'll buy toys. The boy blinked. Hard. Once. Twice. Mommy, he whispered, voice trembling, are you feeling sick? Lydia laughed and lifted him into her arms, spinning slightly. Mommy is feeling perfect. Leo wiggled nervously. He seemed both thrilled and terrified, like a puppy expecting a treat but still checking if it's a trap. Ethan nearly drops his coffee again. Downstairs, Ethan Zhao was skimming a work report when he heard the unmistakable sound of giggling. From Lydia. He almost spilled coffee for the second day in a row. Lydia came down holding Leo like a prize cabbage, both mother and son wearing matching excited expressions. Ethan stared, half expecting aliens to burst from the ceiling. Honey, Lydia said cheerfully, I'm taking Leo out to play today. Ethan blinked. To play? Yep. All day. Leo peeked shyly from behind her shoulder. Daddy. Mommy says no tutoring. Ethan choked. No what? Lydia shot him a warning, but playful, glance that said don't you dare ruin this. Ethan coughed, cleared his throat, then forced out, ahem. That's good. Really. Great. Lydia beamed. Ethan felt something warm twist in his chest. This woman, this wife, felt familiar and foreign at the same time. And he couldn't deny it, he liked this version of her. A lot. Lydia cancels the Armageddon schedule. Before leaving, Lydia opened the dreaded tutoring folder. Inside were thick prep books, hourly schedules, practice sheets, and weekly evaluation charts. In her previous life, she had forced Leo into every box she could check. Today, she tore the schedule into neat little strips. Leo watched, stunned. Mommy, you can't, the teacher will be mad. Lydia winked. Let her come. I'll handle her. But. Lydia crouched down to meet his eyes. Leo, you are 6. 6-year-olds should laugh, explore, run, and get messy, not memorize 10 pages of vocabulary. Leo's eyes glistened. Mommy, you never said that before. Well, she said with a grin, Mommy is leveling up. Leo burst into giggles. The playground majesty. The local playground was lively when they arrived, filled with children flying off swings, climbing colorful structures, and screaming joyfully. Leo clutched Lydia's hand tightly. Can I really go? You can go anywhere you want. But last time you said playgrounds make kids lazy. Lydia's heart twisted painfully. I was wrong, sweetheart. Go. Play. Have fun. Leo hesitated only a second longer before running toward the slide. His small figure, hesitant at first, climbed the steps. Then he slid down slowly, then faster, then with a shriek of genuine delight. Lydia laughed, clapping. That's my brave boy. Parents nearby glanced at her with impressed looks. Is that your first child? One asked. Yes, Lydia replied warmly. I'm making up for lost time. A mother nodded approvingly. You're doing great. Lydia's eyes stung. She was finally doing things right. Meanwhile, Mia smells trouble. Across town, Mia Lin lounged in a cafe, stirring her latte with faux elegance. She had deliberately come to check on Ethan at his office later, aka plant seeds of jealousy in Lydia again. But when she texted Lydia her usual message, "Are you still upset about Ethan leaving early yesterday? Want to talk?" Lydia replied with, "I'm at the playground with Leo. Please don't involve yourself in my marriage again." Mia nearly spilled her latte. What the hell, she hissed. Playground? Leo? Fun? Lydia, children must study till they're robots, Chen? Mia clenched her teeth. Something was changing. And she hated change. Especially when it ruined her plans. The ice cream revolution. After an hour of non-stop playing, Lydia treated Leo to ice cream. He held the cone with both hands, trembling from excitement more than the cold. Mommy, this is the best day ever. Lydia smiled. Then let's make every day a little bit like this. Leo licked the ice cream, getting a big smear on his cheek. He froze, waiting for scolding. Instead, Lydia leaned in and playfully poked his nose. Messy face is cute. Leo laughed so hard he nearly dropped the cone. Shopping spree of redemption. Next, they went to a toy store. In her past life, Lydia limited toys to educational materials. Today, she grabbed a cart. Mommy. Leo whispered urgently. You're not supposed to bring a cart unless you're buying a lot. Lydia smirked. And Mommy is buying a lot. Leo looked like he might faint. They filled the cart with educational toys, puzzle games, cute figurines, a dinosaur plush bigger than Leo, and a bubble machine. Leo hugged the plush like it was a long-lost brother. Mommy, will Daddy be mad? Daddy, Lydia said confidently, will be happy. She paused. Her voice softened. And if he's confused? Mommy will explain everything slowly. We're a family. Leo nodded as if she had just said the profound truth of life. Ethan returns home to a war zone of toys. When Lydia and Leo got home, the living room looked like a toy factory had exploded. Bubble machines. Dinosaur plushes. Kinda puzzles. Ethan froze in the doorway, eyes wide. Lydia, we've been robbed by playful burglars. Leo ran to him, waving a toy wand. Daddy. Mommy said we can play before homework. Ethan blinked. We can. Lydia stepped forward, meeting Ethan's stunned gaze. I'm changing things, Ethan. I want Leo to be happy. I want us to be happy. Ethan swallowed, overwhelmed. Lydia, you're really different. She reached out and took his hand. I hope that's okay. He squeezed her fingers, voice rough. It's more than okay. Watching them, Leo tugged at Ethan's sleeve. Daddy, Mommy is fun now. Ethan chuckled, eyes warm. Yeah, she really is. But in the shadows. Mia wasn't done. Mia sat in her apartment, scrolling through the pictures she secretly took of Ethan in his office earlier. She smirked. Lydia thinks she can change. We'll see about that. She hit dial. Hello, Auntie, she said sweetly. I think Lydia might be neglecting Leo's studies. Maybe you should check on her. After all, you care about his future, don't you? Trouble was brewing. But this time. Lydia was ready for war. The next morning, Lydia woke with a smile until the doorbell rang with the force of a battering ram. Ding dong dong dong. Only one person in the entire city pressed doorbells with such righteous fury. Aunt Grace. Lydia exhaled slowly. So Mia had made her move. Leo peeked around the living room corner, clutching his dinosaur plush. Mommy, is that the loud auntie who says I'm too skinny? Lydia crouched down and whispered conspiratorially, yes. But today, Mommy will protect you. Leo's eyes widened with admiration, like he was watching a superhero prepare for battle. Enter Aunt Grace, criticism incarnate. Aunt Grace barged in the moment Lydia opened the door, her handbag swinging like a weapon of judgment. Her sharp eyes swept across the room, landing instantly on the toy-filled chaos. She gasped. Loudly. Dramatically. Lydia Chen, what is this? A circus? A daycare? A toy landfill? Lydia smiled sweetly. Good morning to you too, Aunt Grace. Aunt Grace marched inside, her heavy perfume trailing behind her like a cloud of doom. She inspected every toy as though they were criminal evidence. These toys are meaningless. Wasteful. Leo doesn't need happiness, he needs discipline, books, tutors. Leo hid behind Lydia's leg. In her previous life, Lydia would have stiffened, apologized, and obediently thrown away the toys. Today, Lydia gently patted Leo's head and stepped forward. Aunt Grace, she said calmly, Leo is a child. He is supposed to laugh, play, and enjoy life. Don't worry, his future won't crumble because he owns a dinosaur plush. Aunt Grace blinked at her tone, a blend of polite, confident, and completely unmoved by her theatrics. You're talking back to me? I'm speaking, Lydia corrected. There's a difference. Aunt Grace nearly choked on air. Is this Mia's influence? I heard you've been neglecting Leo's studies. Lydia smiled. Actually, I've been spending more time with him than ever. Aunt Grace's mouth twisted. Time spent playing is not real parenting. Well, Lydia said with a shrug, Leo seems to think it is. Leo nodded vehemently from behind his plush dinosaur. Aunt Grace glared at the child. You're going to fall behind. Other children your age can count to 1,000 and recite poems. Leo shrank back. But Lydia stepped protectively in front of him, voice turning cold. Aunt Grace, let me be very clear. My son's mental health matters more than your comparisons. Please refrain from belittling him. Aunt Grace sputtered like a malfunctioning kettle. How dare you speak to me this way? Lydia smiled brightly. Quite easily, actually. Ethan comes home to the showdown. The door opened again. Ethan returned early, holding a bag of groceries. He froze mid-step, taking in the scene, Lydia calmly sipping tea. Aunt Grace fuming like a volcano. Leo hiding behind a dinosaur toy, and toys scattered everywhere. Oh, Ethan said slowly. We have guests. Aunt Grace pounced. Ethan, talk sense into your wife. She's letting the boy waste time with nonsense. Ethan blinked. Toys aren't nonsense. Aunt Grace gasped. Not you too. Ethan rubbed the back of his neck, awkward. Lydia's just trying to be closer to Leo. That's a good thing. Aunt Grace slapped her thigh in dramatic despair. You're both mad. Ruining the child's future. Lydia placed her teacup down. Aunt Grace, if you cannot respect how we raise our son, then please refrain from giving unsolicited advice. Aunt Grace glared at Lydia as though she'd sprouted demon horns. You're ungrateful. I raised you. No, Lydia interrupted firmly. My parents raised me. You criticized me. Ethan's jaw dropped. Leo stared with shining eyes. Aunt Grace looked personally attacked by the truth. I think it's time for you to leave, Lydia added politely. Aunt Grace sputtered. This is unbelievable. Yes, Lydia agreed, ushering her toward the door. It certainly is. Take care. Door slam. Aunt Grace's offended footsteps echoed all the way down the hallway. The peace after the storm. Ethan stared at Lydia as if he were seeing her for the first time. Lydia, you actually stood up to her. She raised an eyebrow. Was I not supposed to? I mean, you usually let her say whatever she wants. Lydia shrugged. I don't have the patience anymore. Leo tugged her sleeve. Mommy, you protected me. She lifted him into her arms. I will always protect you. Leo smiled shyly. Ethan's expression softened at the tender scene. But Lydia noticed something else. Ethan looked at her like she had become someone worth admiring. Her heart fluttered unexpectedly. Mia tries again, and fails again. Later that afternoon, Lydia received a phone call. It was Mia Lin. Her syrupy voice oozed through the speaker. Lydia, I heard Aunt Grace visited. Are you okay? I told her to go support you. No, Lydia replied bluntly. You sent her to interfere. Mia coughed lightly. I only care about Leo's future. That's lovely, Lydia said sweetly. Unfortunately, Leo's actual parents will be handling his future. Mia fell silent. Lydia continued, voice warm but sharp. Mia, if you care about us, please stop spreading concerns to relatives. I don't want misunderstandings. Mia's nails lightly dug into her palm. Oh, of course. I was just helping. No need, Lydia said, smiling. We're doing very well. She hung up without waiting for another word. Across the city, Mia nearly exploded. This woman changed again. What is happening? A family walk and a quiet realization. That evening, Lydia took Ethan and Leo for a walk in the neighborhood. Leo ran ahead blowing bubbles from the machine Lydia bought him. Ethan walked beside her, hands in pockets, voice soft. You were amazing today. Lydia chuckled. For telling off a relative. For protecting Leo. And, for protecting yourself. She blinked, surprised by his gentle sincerity. I don't think I've seen you stand up for us like that before, Ethan continued. But I'm glad this is you now. The wind brushed her hair lightly. She felt warmth settle in her heart. In her past life, Ethan had carried so much alone, pressure, misunderstandings, stress from relatives, and she had never supported him. This time, she would. Ethan, she said quietly, I want to do better. For you. For Leo. He looked at her, eyes deep and earnest. You already are. She exhaled, relieved, grateful, and something else, something warm and glowing. Ahead of them, Leo turned back, waving excitedly. Mommy, Daddy, come see the big bubble. Lydia laughed and took Ethan's hand without thinking. He squeezed back. Just like that, the gap that once felt hopelessly wide began to close. The next few days passed like gentle sunlight. For the first time in years, laughter filled the Zhao household. Lydia kept her promise. Every day included a little joy for Leo. Bubble mornings. Playground afternoons. Storytime nights. Leo no longer tiptoed around the house. He ran, freely, joyfully, loudly. Ethan watched quietly, sometimes with awe, sometimes with disbelief, but mostly, with warmth growing slowly in his chest. But while the home glowed with new happiness, outside it, Mia fumed. Mia's growing obsession. In her stylish apartment, Mia paced like a caged tiger. Her perfectly manicured nails tapped furiously against her phone screen. Nothing made sense anymore. First, Lydia refused her help. Then she pushed Aunt Grace away. And now Lydia seemed happy. Happy women were harder to manipulate. Mia wasn't about to let that happen. She grabbed her bag and headed out, determination burning in her eyes. If Lydia wants a battle, she murmured, I'll give her one. Birthday preparations. At home, Lydia was decorating the living room with colorful banners. Ethan helped hang strings of lights across the ceiling. Leo watched them with amazement. Is this for my birthday? Lydia nodded proudly. A pre-birthday adventure celebration. Adventure. Ethan raised an eyebrow. What kind of adventure? A secret one. Lydia winked. Leo bounced in excitement. Ethan's heart skipped. This Lydia, creative, warm, playful, was undoing years of distance with just her smile. When Lydia stepped onto a chair to adjust a streamer, Ethan steadied her waist automatically. She tensed, surprised. He froze too, hands warm against her. Their eyes met, soft, uncertain. Then Leo yelled loudly, Daddy. Mommy. The dinosaur wants to help. They both jumped apart like teenagers caught holding hands. But a faint blush lingered on Lydia's cheeks. Ethan hid a smile behind his hand. Mia arrives uninvited. Just as Lydia was preparing snacks, the doorbell rang. Ding dong. Lydia sighed. The tone, the timing. Only one person. She opened the door just as Mia struck a dramatic pose. Lydia, I came because I'm worried about you. Lydia didn't move aside. There's no need. We're doing perfectly fine. Mia's smile twitched. You look fine, but I hear things. Lydia raised an eyebrow. Do you? Because I haven't said anything. Mia stepped closer, lowering her voice. Lydia, people are starting to talk. They say you're distracting Ethan from work. They say Leo is becoming spoiled. They say your sudden personality change is suspicious. Lydia let out a small laugh, a soft, elegant one. Mia, darling, she said sweetly, did you start those rumors yourself? Mia stiffened. Of course not. Lydia folded her arms. Because they sound like your words. Mia's jaw clenched. Before she could respond, Leo burst into the hallway, wearing a dinosaur cape. Rare. Mommy. Daddy. Look, I'm a flying dinosaur. He stopped when he saw Mia. His small hand immediately reached for Lydia's sleeve. Mia plastered a saccharine smile. Leo, darling. You're so big now. Do you still remember Auntie Mia? Leo hid behind Lydia's leg. Mommy. I don't like her. Mia froze. Lydia patted his head. It's okay, sweetheart. Then she looked at Mia with a serene smile. Children are honest. Mia's smile cracked. Lydia's tone remained polite, but her eyes gleamed with warning. Mia, you're interfering too much. This is your last reminder. Mia's face darkened. Lydia, be careful. You're not as untouchable as you think. Lydia tilted her head. Neither are you. Door close. Mia stood in the hallway, trembling in rage. Ethan notices. When Lydia returned to the living room, Ethan approached her gently. I heard voices. Was that Mia again? Yes, Lydia said calmly. Ethan frowned. Lydia, you don't have to deal with her alone. If she's bothering you, tell me. She blinked at him. In her past life, she had always battled alone. She never let Ethan help, never believed he would help. Now, his protective tone warmed her unexpectedly. Thank you, she said softly. I will. Ethan's eyes softened. Good. Their quiet moment was interrupted by Leo throwing himself between them. Mommy. Daddy. Come see my dinosaur cave. The two adults laughed. Ethan ruffled Leo's hair, then gently touched Lydia's back as they followed behind. A simple touch, but one that lingered in Lydia's mind longer than it should have. Birthday Adventure Day. The next morning, Lydia woke Leo early. Today is your adventure day. Leo sat up instantly. Adventure. Adventure. Ethan came out rubbing sleep from his eyes. Where are we going at 6 in the morning? Lydia grinned mysteriously. Somewhere magical. She made sandwiches, packed juice boxes, and stuffed the car with blankets, toys, and a portable speaker. Ethan raised a brow. This looks like we're going camping. Almost, Lydia teased. Leo bounced. Are there dragons? Maybe friendly ones. The lake adventure. The car drove 2 hours until the city faded into open countryside. They arrived at a shimmering lake surrounded by soft hills and willow trees swaying in the breeze. Leo gasped. It's beautiful. Lydia smiled. This was my dream place when I was young. I want to share it with you. They laid blankets out. Ethan set up a small tent. Lydia took out a bubble wand the size of a staff. Massive bubbles floated into the clear sky, rainbow-colored and magical. Leo chased them, giggling uncontrollably. Ethan stood beside Lydia, watching the scene. You planned all of this for him? And for you, she said softly. Ethan turned to her, eyes warm. Lydia. I don't know what changed you. But thank you. For a moment, the world quieted. The wind tugged at her hair, sunlight warming her skin. Ethan stood close enough that she could feel the heat of his presence. Her heart beat too fast. She looked away quickly. Let's go help Leo with the bubbles. But Ethan's gaze lingered on her, soft and thoughtful. Mia's carefully laid trap begins to fail. Elsewhere, Mia sat in her office, adjusting her makeup angrily. She had spent days preparing false evidence emails, manipulated messages, forged receipts to make it look like Ethan had an emotional affair with her. In Lydia's past life, such schemes had worked easily. But now Lydia didn't believe her. Mia slammed her desk. Why isn't anything working? Her assistant nervously approached. Miss Mia, the plan for the board meeting, it may not work anymore. Mia whipped around. What do you mean? Lydia already submitted the corrected documents to the company. The ones you tried to alter. Mia froze. Her face drained of color. She blocked me? The assistant swallowed. Yes. She caught it before it spread. For the first time, Mia felt something unfamiliar. Fear. The night by the lake. As sunset dyed the sky pink and gold, Lydia and Ethan sat on a blanket watching Leo build a tiny rock fortress. Ethan looked at Lydia quietly. You're incredible, you know that. She blinked. I'm just trying to do what I should have done long ago. Ethan's voice softened. I'm really grateful for this. For you. Lydia's chest tightened. Her past life was filled with regret. But this moment, this warm, peaceful evening, felt like healing. She whispered, Ethan. I'm going to protect this family. No matter what. Ethan smiled gently. We'll protect it together. They sat in silence, watching Leo play, two adults whose hearts were slowly rediscovering each other. While far away, Mia's carefully constructed schemes continued falling apart piece by piece. Her downfall had already begun. Lydia woke before dawn. She lay in bed silently, watching the faint morning light spill through the curtains like liquid gold. Ethan was still asleep beside her, his breathing soft, peaceful, unguarded. In her previous life, she had drowned in ambition and coldness, never noticing how exhausted he always looked, how lonely. Her heart twisted. This time, she vowed no more blindness. Lydia slipped out of bed and padded to the kitchen. She made breakfast gently, quietly, soft-boiled eggs for Ethan, because he always pretended he didn't like runny yolks but secretly did. Heart-shaped pancakes for Leo, because he always giggled at the shape. A soft patter of footsteps signaled Leo's arrival. Mommy. Leo's sleepy voice squeaked. Why are you up so early? Lydia crouched down, smoothing his messy hair. Because I want you two to wake up to something warm. Leo blinked at her. Then his eyes curved into a bright little smile, one that used to be rare in her past life. Mommy's the best, he declared, hugging her waist. Lydia kissed the top of his head. Not nearly enough to make up for the last lifetime, she thought. But she would try. Every day. A family breakfast. And hidden pain. When Ethan walked in, he froze at the sight. Lydia wearing a frilly apron, Leo humming while sprinkling rainbow sugar on pancakes, the table filled with warm food. This is, Ethan cleared his throat. You did all this. Lydia smiled. Sit. Eat. No arguing. He sat down slowly, still wearing that stunned expression that both amused and pained her. As they ate, Leo chattered non-stop. Dad. Mommy said we can try making slime later, the messy one. Ethan nearly choked. You agreed to that? Lydia laughed. Yes. I'm embracing chaos. Ethan stared at her, confusion mixing with something softer, hope. Disbelief. Fear. Lydia's chest tightened. She couldn't keep hiding behind smiles forever. Ethan, she said quietly. Can we talk? Just us two. Leo looked up, then nodded with surprising maturity, like he sensed something important. I'll go play in my room. When Leo disappeared upstairs, the house fell into a delicate silence. Lydia's confession. Ethan waited. Lydia folded her hands together, inhaling shakily. I haven't been a good wife, she began. Ethan blinked rapidly. Lydia, that's... No. Let me finish. Her voice trembled. In the past, I cared more about being perfect than being present. I pushed Leo too hard. I hurt you with my coldness. And I regret all of it. Ethan stared at her as if she'd turned into a different person entirely. "I'm trying now," she whispered. "I don't want to lose this family again." Ethan froze. Again. Lydia stiffened. She had said too much. But she couldn't reveal rebirth, not yet, maybe never. She softened her tone. "I mean," she amended, voice thick, "I almost lost the chance to fix things. And I realized how precious you and Leo are." Ethan's expression wavered. A muscle in his jaw tightened. "Do you know," he murmured, "how many nights I stayed up wondering why you hated me?" Lydia's breath hitched. "Hated you? I never. You didn't have to say it." His voice was quiet. "I could see it. Every time you turned away. Every time you scolded Leo for something harmless. Every time you told me my support wasn't enough." Her eyes stung. Tears gathered. "I was wrong," she whispered. "I never realized how much you carried. How much you protected us from." Ethan lifted his gaze, hurt, longing, and fragile hope all woven together. "And now? Why the sudden change?" "Because I finally understand what matters," she said. "I want to make up for everything. I want us to be a real family." Ethan leaned back, breath trembling. "Lydia, I've never stopped wanting that. I just didn't think you did." Tears escaped her eyes. She wiped them quickly, embarrassed. Ethan reached out, a hesitant touch at first, then a steady, warm clasp of her hand. "Thank you," he said softly, "for trying." His voice cracked on the last word. Leo's secret vow. Upstairs, Leo was pressed against the railing, tiny hands gripping the bars as he listened carefully. His parents' muffled voices reached him, his mom crying, his dad speaking softly. He didn't fully understand grown-up things. But he knew one thing. "Mommy's sad because of that Auntie Mia," he whispered determinedly. "Dad too." His little fists clenched. "I'm gonna protect Mommy and Daddy." He puffed up his cheeks and nodded fiercely to himself. No villainous aunties would break his family ever again, not if Leo Zhao had anything to say about it. Lydia listened at the doorway as Leo hummed to himself inside his room. His scribbles covered the floor, stick figures labeled Mommy, Daddy, and a tiny fierce one labeled Leo the Protector. She smiled warmly, heart swelling. He was trying so hard to guard the family in his own childish way. She ruffled his hair. "What's all this, little hero?" Leo puffed up proudly. "I'm making protection magic. So no mean aunties can hurt you." Lydia froze. He heard. But she didn't scold him. Instead, she kissed his forehead. "Thank you. Mommy feels stronger already." Leo beamed as if he'd defeated the universe. But Lydia knew this wasn't a child's game. Mia's schemes were escalating, she could feel it in the subtle shifts, the probing messages, the invitations filled with fake kindness. In her previous life, this was the time Mia launched her biggest blow, one that tore the Zhao family apart. Not this time. This time, Lydia would end it first. The calm before the storm. Later, Lydia walked into the study where Ethan was sorting work documents. He still looked slightly dazed around her, her new gentleness unsettled him, yet he couldn't hide how it warmed him. "Ethan," she said lightly, "are you free tomorrow morning?" He raised an eyebrow. "Depends." "Why? Planning slime round 2? She smacked his arm playfully. "It was only on the ceiling for 5 minutes. Ethan laughed, an unguarded, real laugh she hadn't heard in years. It made her heart skip. "No, actually," Lydia continued. "There's a board meeting at your company tomorrow, right?" He blinked. "Yes, but how do you know?" "Because Mia uses that meeting to plant forged evidence," Lydia thought. Out loud, she said, "I'd like to attend. As your wife." Ethan stared. "Lydia, you've never cared about my company before." She held his gaze steadily. "I care about you. And this matters to you." Something softened in his eyes, gratitude, admiration, something deeper. "Okay," he said quietly. "I'll have a seat arranged for you." Mia's final move. The next morning, Lydia walked into the Zhao Corporation headquarters beside Ethan. Heads turned. Employees whispered. "Mrs. Zhao. She never comes here. She's smiling. Is that real?" Ethan tried not to look smug. In the meeting room, Mia sat confidently at the long table, legs crossed, pretending sophistication. When she saw Lydia enter, her mask cracked for just a moment. "Lydia," Mia purred, rising to greet her, "what a surprise. I thought you didn't like business matters." "I like family matters," Lydia replied with a soft smile. "Especially when someone's trying to destroy one." Mia stiffened. The meeting began. Executives discussed numbers, plans, partnerships. Then Mia stood. "I'd like to present a matter concerning Ethan Zhao," she said sweetly. "A financial irregularity I discovered." A screen lit up, showing a forged transaction linked to Ethan. Gasps filled the room. Ethan's face darkened. "Mia, what is this?" Mia folded her arms delicately. "Evidence of embezzlement. I just want to protect the company." Before Ethan could respond, Lydia's voice cut through the room, clear, calm, confident. "Actually," she said, rising gracefully, "you want to protect yourself." Mia's eyes widened. What are you implying?" Lydia clicked a small device on the table. The screen changed. A recording played. Mia's voice, unmistakable, speaking sharply on a call. "Forge the documents. Make Ethan look guilty. Once he's ousted, I'll control the shares." The room fell dead silent. Executives gaped. Ethan stared at Lydia in shock. Mia went pale. "No, that's not," she tricked, "this is edited." Mia sputtered, backing away. Lydia stepped forward, expression serene. "It's over, Mia. You lost this game before it even began." Security entered, summoned by Ethan with a single nod. They escorted the trembling Mia out as she shrieked Lydia's name like a curse. When silence finally returned, Ethan looked at his wife, truly looked. "Lydia," he whispered, "when did you become this strong?" She smiled gently. "I always had it in me. I just didn't use it for the right things." He exhaled slowly, emotions swirling behind his eyes, admiration, wonder, tenderness. "You protected me," he murmured. "Of course," she replied softly. "We protect each other now. A family united." That evening, Lydia found Leo waiting at the door, clutching his crayon drawings. "Mommy, Daddy, did we win?" Ethan scooped him up. "We did." Leo wrapped his arms around both their necks, squeezing tightly. "I told you my magic would work." Lydia and Ethan exchanged a glance, one warm, full, overflowing with shared relief. The storm had passed. And the family she had lost once, she was protecting with everything she had. Morning sunlight poured into the living room like warm honey. Lydia stretched, feeling a sense of quiet peace she never experienced in her previous life. No pressure. No regrets clawing at her. No shadows lurking behind smiles. Just warmth. Just family. Leo's laughter drifted from the kitchen where he and Ethan were whispering suspiciously. Lydia smiled. "They're up to something." She padded over, peeking in. Leo and Ethan froze like two guilty statues. Flour covered the counter. Sprinkles littered the floor. Something that might have been a cake leaned dangerously to one side. "Mama," Leo squeaked. "You're not supposed to be here." Lydia raised an eyebrow. "And why not?" Ethan coughed, trying to shield the collapsing cake with his body. "We had a plan. A secret plan," Leo added proudly. Lydia leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, eyes sparkling. "Then hurry. Before your cake escapes." Leo gasped dramatically. "Dad. It's leaning again." Ethan groaned. "I see it, buddy. I see it." Lydia laughed, her heart full. This chaotic, imperfect sweetness was everything she once destroyed through cold ambition. Never again. The family rebirth day. After the cake disaster, which somehow ended up edible, Leo dragged Lydia and Ethan to the backyard. "Sit. Sit," he ordered, bouncing with excitement. A large banner hung crookedly between two trees. "Happy Family Rebirth Day." Lydia's breath caught. Ethan's eyes softened as he whispered, "He came up with it last night." Leo held up 3 cards covered in colorful scribbles. "This one's for Dad," he said, handing Ethan a drawing of a superhero with glasses. "Because you're super strong and you lift me." Ethan's voice cracked. Thank you, Leo. And this one is for Mommy. Leo handed Lydia a picture of a smiling woman with giant sparkles and a cape. Because you protect us with magic. Lydia bit her lip, but tears pushed through anyway. She held him tightly. Thank you, my brave little hero. Then Leo held up a third card, 3 stick figures holding hands. This one is for all of us. Because now we're rebirthed. New and happy. Ethan laughed softly. Lydia wiped her cheeks. And Leo beamed like the sun. A road trip of chaos and love. To celebrate, Lydia suggested a spontaneous road trip. Ethan blinked in surprise. You? Suggesting leaving work behind for a full day? She grinned. Get used to it. Leo cheered. I want ice cream, and a beach, and fries bigger than my face. Ethan shook his head. That sounds unhealthy. Lydia snorted. Live a little, Mr. Responsible. Leo pointed triumphantly. Daddy got defeated. The drive was loud and messy and perfect. Leo sang off-key into a toy microphone. Ethan pretended not to enjoy it. Lydia filmed everything, cheeks aching from smiling. They stopped for ice cream so enormous Leo needed both hands. He smeared half of it on his shirt. Lydia didn't scold him. She laughed and handed him napkins. They played tag on the beach. Lydia tripped into the sand. Ethan helped her up, hands lingering. Their fingers tangled naturally, as if they'd been doing this their whole lives. As the sun dipped into orange twilight, casting golden light over the waves, Ethan turned to her. Lydia, he said softly, I don't know what happened to change you, but I'm grateful every day. She met his gaze. I just realized what mattered too late in another life. I won't make the same mistake again. Ethan touched her cheek gently. You won't. We won't let you face anything alone anymore. Their lips met in a soft, tender kiss. Leo, building a sandcastle nearby, looked over and wrinkled his nose. You. Lydia giggled into the kiss. The new promise. As the sky turned pink, Ethan pulled something from his pocket, a small velvet box. Lydia gasped. Ethan. He flipped it open. Inside was a delicate ring, simple but glowing under the fading sunlight. I can't change the past, he said, voice low, steady, but I want to rewrite our future with you. Her heart squeezed. Tears shimmered. Lydia Chen, will you marry me again? Lydia laughed and cried all at once. Yes. 100 times yes. Leo sprinted over, throwing sand everywhere. Mama. Dad. Are we getting married? Again? Can I be the flower boy? Can I throw confetti? Lydia hugged him tightly. You can throw whatever you want. Leo gasped. Even sand? No, Ethan said instantly. Yes, Lydia said at the same time. They looked at each other and burst into laughter. Together, the three of them watched the waves. A new beginning. A family reborn. A lifetime of second chances, cherished, protected, and overflowing with love.